Back now with breaking news. You can see here Steve Hilton, the Republican, now set to advance to the November runoff against Democrat Javier Becerra in the race for California governor. Here's a look at the latest numbers that are just into our newsroom here. No significant change in terms of the percentage, but the vote did just drop within the last few minutes, and Hilton did get that bump there. You see now with 24.9%. Tom Steyer remains at 22.6% here. Our Conan Nolan will be joining us here shortly to break some of these numbers down. But as expected, as we were talking about just a few minutes ago, Colleen, we were expecting Hilton potentially to be called as soon as today, and sure enough, that is the case.
Well, if you look at the numbers here, Javier Becerra's number really hasn't changed all that much. But the margin between Steve Hilton and Tom Steyer is pretty much the same as it was about 5 minutes ago. It's about 2.5%. It's 24.9 to 22.6%. But once again, and this, as you mentioned, Jonathan, is breaking news, NBC now projecting Steve Hilton will advance to the general election in November and will face Javier Becerra.
And again, our Conan Nolan is on his way to the set here in just a moment.
Conan is right here. Conan, if you want to walk in and join us.
Feel free, Conan. He's getting ready. But I think one thing that Conan pointed out just a few minutes ago when we were speaking with him, was there this notion, Conan, that potentially Tom Steyer could have some almost Nithya Raman-esque type of comeback here, but in drop after drop, every day since last Tuesday, the primary election, we have not seen that. He's basically remained in the third spot. The only switch we saw really over the last few days was Becerra overtaking Hilton. Here we are, Conan. I mean, we were just talking about this. It is now official. NBC News now projecting Hilton will move on to face Becerra.
Can you imagine being Tom Steyer? He spent $225, maybe $240 million on this election.
Record?
Oh, by far. That blew away Meg Whitman's $165 million.
I was going to say she was close to 150.
Right, exactly. Right? And remember, he ran for president in 2020. And what, 200, no, it was close to 300 million in that race. So he spent $500 million on trying to get elected to public office. Remember, he went for the top spot first, and then he went for the second top spot in the country, the leader of the fourth leading economy in the world, and he still can't break in. So unlike the Nithya Raman thing that we were looking at in the mayor's race, there were, again, a lot of Democratic ballots that were being counted because they came in late. But they were split. They were split with Javier Becerra getting a good chunk. You still had Katie Porter, who picked up enough percentage points. Her campaign failed at the end. But at the same time, I think that's just enough to rob him of any kind of momentum. And Eric Swalwell finished 11th.
Cody, you look at the numbers there today, and something that Steve Hilton campaigned on must have resonated in a blue state.
Well, it certainly resonated. I mean, that last poll from Emerson that showed that maybe Becerra and Steyer are going to be 1 and 2, I think shocked enough Republicans that it robbed support from Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. And so they went to Steve Hilton. He got the benefit of that. That last poll actually benefited his campaign quite a bit. I think Steyer has had a problem because he was a billionaire campaigning against billionaires. And there was just something that did not resonate with most Democrats. I mean, there were some, certainly, they thought he was a champion for very progressive causes. The nurses union very much in favor of single-payer health care, and he was talking about that. He was talking about getting rid of ICE. He can't get rid of ICE, but it was a research topic that did very well in public opinion polling. But when it came to the establishment Democratic Party and a safe bet for that 1 and 2 position, I think Javier Becerra was the consensus choice. And, Mr. Steyer, part of the problem, if you spend that much money on an election, research shows, if you blanket the airwaves the way he does or did, you become the incumbent. People see you as the establishment. You may argue as much as you want about how I'm the renegade, I'm going to change things up, but yeah, you're all over the place. You look like you're part of it. So that, I think, was also part of the problem for Tom Steyer.
Was this because of Hilton's message, or was this more because Democrats split so much of the vote?
Well, I think it was both. I mean, Tom Steyer's problem wasn't Republicans who voted for Steve Hilton. Tom Steyer's problem were Democrats who voted for anybody but Tom Steyer. and that was enough to rob him of the percentage points he needed. You know, he came close. I mean, not that close, but close enough. The last I saw was 200,000 votes.
Stayed about the same.
Stayed about the same. So the chunk that was coming in, and I mentioned a few minutes ago, Ventura County voted more for Hilton than they did Steyer, which is out of the ordinary. But for the most part, he just didn't get enough votes in the San Francisco Bay Area, that is ostensibly his base. He lives in Atherton. He's a neighbor of Steve Hilton, by the way, a community where I think 16 million is the average price for a home. And he needed more out of L.A. County. The Central Valley was not voting for Tom Steyer, that's for sure. And those votes add up. I know L.A. County 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 4 votes, but the rest of the state adds up, and he did not do well in Sacramento County and some of the San Joaquin counties, and those vote totals meant something.
All right, Conan, it's almost 5 o'clock. It's 4:45 here. We're going to have Conan back in just a couple of minutes to break that down, but you just saw the latest numbers there. Steve Hilton projected to move on to the general election in November. His opponent, of course, will be Javier Becerra.